Looks like we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all the in-betweeners.
This is Cause and Defect, the show for serious conversations with not so serious people.
Yep.
You are here with Brennen Jones and Chase Duncan.
That's right. And
Once again.
And we are those not so serious people.
That's right.
That we speak of.
Sometimes we're serious though. If you've watched any of our other podcasts, when we talk about things, sometimes we're serious.
Yep, you'll notice
times, actually,
if you just like kind of skim through all the videos, you'll notice the big chunk in the middle part. There's not much laughter. That's the serious part. The outsides are where we tend to lighten it up a bit.
That's right, because we like to play stupid games.
Yep.
This episode in particular, we will be talking about censorship.
Yes.
So this may be a funny-ish episode. I side with how Marshall Mathers would side on this subject.
Please.
In that I am totally against censorship, but you'll find that out later on. But today we will be starting out with a game of Q&A.
Yep.
Generally, this is a funny game.
Let us not forget how we start every episode with
Beer
of the day. I don't know if I can show that, but I did. Not that you can read it.
Too late.
Yeah, it's all good. If this gets taken down, it would be so beautiful when the censorship episode gets taken down.
Just poetic.
This is a raspberry white ale. If you watched our last episode, we talked about veganism and how we should all change our diets. But
Here we are drinking beer.
For Chase and I, we have pretty great diets and exercise frequently, so we deserve it. I haven't had a beer in probably 2 weeks. So I deserve a mother effing beer.
And beer is not bad for you in small quantities.
Like everything else, pretty much.
That's right.
Except for like heroin or PCP.
I mean, look at how beautiful this is.
Yeah,
That is a gorgeous beer.
That's
Am I
impressive.
wrong?
Cheers, mate.
Oh yeah.
Envy us.
That's good. That's good.
This is fucking... well, you can go get this at the store.
And you should.
You should definitely do it.
All
Because
right.
it is so good.
So we're going to jump right into this. I'm going to start off with my first Q, and you will give me an A.
Again
You know
today.
what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
All right, Brennan.
Yes.
Would you rather be hunted by a human or by a tiger? You have no weapons.
A human.
Okay.
I don't know what kind
That
of...
was a very quick answer.
Yeah, tiger. I don't fuck with them. Because even if, like, I'm slower, they can hear better. They can probably see better. They can definitely smell better. They're all around better hunters than me by myself. A human, depending on what technology it has.
That's what I was going to argue.
Depending on the technology it has, we're on level playing ground, and I could maybe win. As long as I can run faster.
I mean, if they even have a rifle.
Oh,
and
yeah, I'm probably fucked.
like a crossbow or something.
I don't know, man. I could if my life depended on it, I could sit dead still for like 3 days probably without moving.
Yeah, doing it. If you took that approach, made yourself like a little spear, you could even make yourself a bow and arrow. Like get really far away, make yourself a bow and arrow, sit up in a tree, don't make a fire.
Yeah.
Hunger Games taught us that you don't make a fire at night; it gives you away.
Yep.
Classic.
Even during the day, there's smoke coming from it. So.
Yeah, so I'd probably rather get hunted by a human as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless they had like heat scopes or something crazy.
If it was like some real, if it was like a Navy SEAL tracking me down or some shit, or like an Army Ranger, then I'm fucked. I would probably go with the tiger. But if it's just a normal person, I'd pick the person.
Fair enough.
All right, my friend. So my first Q to your first A will be: Will you or would you volunteer to go to Mars or any other place in space with no guarantee of return?
Oh, that's a good question, sir. Good question. Probably not.
Okay.
Personally, because I have a lot of things I would like to accomplish on this earth. If I didn't have a lot to live for, then sure. If I had accomplished everything and I was gonna like commit suicide or something, yeah, why the fuck not?
I think it's so funny how many people are like, "Yeah, I would love to go to Mars," and I'm kind of the same way. Like, I have that part of me that would be like, "That would be awesome," but at the same time, it would not be awesome.
Have you watched The Martian?
Yeah, it would
His
not
life didn't look very fun.
It looks awful,
Yeah.
and it's freezing. You don't go outside; you're inside all the time. How do they get sun? Well, I guess you could have windows and shit, but anyhow, so good answer.
Yep.
All right, hit me.
Ooh, burps already from the beer.
Hit me hard.
Brennan,
Yes.
if you could only see in one color, what color would you choose?
Well, fuck. I don't know how the hell am I supposed to pick that?
I don't know. What's your favorite color?
I'm gonna have to say what's most useful. technically you'd need more than one color to have some contrast.
Okay, one color hue, or like one spectrum of color. You can have, like, let's say if you have green, you can see in light green and dark green. And
I'd just pick black and white.
Okay.
You can see the most contrast, with any other. Yeah, that I think it would be the most helpful to see in black and white.
You're probably right. I think
other,
that's a good choice.
Yeah, like other colors, they wouldn't really mean anything.
Yeah. True.
All in all, it would all pretty much be the same.
I think black and white is the best choice.
It's because I'm a genius.
Yeah.
But
technically,
genius.
Black and white are not colors.
Yeah. Yeah, well, red then. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. Cue number 2. Do you have any problems with gene editing? Not blue jeans. Not denim.
You mean like eugenics?
It could lead that way, sure.
In humans, like, period.
Yeah, I mean they're already doing it with CRISPR.
Yeah, with what?
That's an acronym. It's called CRISPR.
Okay.
They're gene editing for any. Well, I'm sure they're doing it for a lot of stuff they're not telling us about. But basically, like if a child is like in the womb and they can already tell it has some problems, they can like manipulate it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I knew about that.
I think it's in the womb. It could be even before then, but yeah, they're like manipulating so it'll come out. Yeah, potentially to eugenics. That's the whole argument.
In one way, yes, because we're like denying Mother Nature her say in how we develop, and in another way, it could benefit the human race. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be kept in check one way or another.
Yeah. So if it's not that, it'll probably be something else.
It will be something else.
I like that.
I don't know. That's a tough question. That's a good one too.
That's a good answer.
You're on your A game today.
I am. I got some more coming.
Good job, dude.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you have any qualms?
I think because the argument is it could be a good thing because you can stop sort of like the predispositions before they even happen, and I think that's could be a good thing, but it can ultimately lead to like we're creating a super race of humans.
Yeah, I mean that's
probably
what we're working for,
that's probably where it's already going and where it would go either way. So unfortunately, humans will be so smart that we will kill ourselves. But yeah,
some of us will survive.
Hopefully,
I believe so. We're already guaranteeing that for ourselves. We have long ago guaranteed that for ourselves.
Have you seen the bombs that go off?
All right. Would you rather drink 12 beers or take 12 shots?
12 beers.
Okay.
Easy for me because I hate alcohol.
Fair
By
enough.
shot 2, I'd probably already throw up. Much less if I had to pile 10 more on top of that. No. It would not be good. And you have less alcohol with the beers. You just have a more full stomach. But I can deal with that. I can definitely deal with that.
I would personally rather take 12 shots.
Ugh.
12 shots of whiskey followed by plenty of water. I mean, not like straight in a row. I would take like a shot, drink some water. I would do it that way because the fullness aspect would hate it.
I'm already like when I take a shot, I know I'm gonna immediately have like one of those bitch faces, like. So I like. So I tried to hide that anytime I take a shot.
Man, I got in college. I got the ultimate compliment. So I got told by a Russian that I take vodka shots like a champ.
Wow.
Never received a better compliment than that.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I think my heart was just touched that day.
Or you were just so fucked up you probably didn't even know what they were saying.
I remember it thoroughly. I wasn't fucked up at all because we were playing a game where you had to guess who got the shot.
Yeah.
And nobody could guess when I took the shot. Nobody even got close to me. I was very stoic about it. And then when they figured out it was me, she was like, "Oh my God, you took that like a champ."
She Asian Russian.
She was Russians are Asian, okay, technically.
Sure, okay.
Well, some of them.
I don't know how that works.
Because it's in I think it's the only country on 2 continents. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Don't know.
Okay. Your turn.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah.
All right. What smells worse?
That's a good start.
A week-old horse carcass?
Oh.
Or the crusty sock that's found under any teenage boy's bed?
The crusty sock.
Yeah.
No, the horse smells worse.
The horse smells worse?
I think the horse smells worse.
Okay.
Because I can't...
Even after a week?
Yeah, because I don't think there's any worse smell than death.
Probably not.
I just don't think so, except for like a landfill, which a landfill is death plus other things.
Yeah, with a bunch of trash thrown on top of dead things. Okay, that's good. I really just wanted to talk about a crusty sock.
I bet you did.
Go ahead.
Disgusting.
Yes.
Would you rather? Oh, I'm sorry. Would you run around butt naked in the middle of a demolition derby for $500? The entire demolition derby.
Oh, I get killed.
Not if you're spry.
What is the point of me being naked?
I don't know. Just to embarrass you. Everybody knows you got a chode and 3 balls.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to see my penis from the stands, probably.
Need a telescope.
Yeah, exactly. No, $500 doesn't seem worth death. Even if I just got clipped, I mean, we're talking hospital bills that, you know. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think you would do it either. I'm not going to ask.
No, I definitely wouldn't.
All right, my friend. Would you rather be a dentist or a professional pedicure person? I don't know what those are actually called. So would you rather root around in someone's mouth or play with their feet? Because both sound disgusting.
Yeah. Dentists make more money, so a dentist.
Okay.
Do you have a preference?
I guess I have to go with that. I would not want to do either.
No.
Feet don't bother me like normal. I feel like your average person is going to be like, ew, feet, gross.
Yeah.
Just like...
They don't bother me.
Their hands on your legs. It's not that. Your hands are actually probably grosser than your feet.
Hands on your legs. That's a great way to put it. I've never heard that.
I think people's hands are grosser. Like, you touch things all day. Your feet are like tucked away in socks and shoes all day. They're probably not that gross. Maybe a little sweaty and smelly, but
they definitely smell.
Anyhow, not my feet. They smell like that crusty sock. Sorry, go ahead.
That's not a good smell. Would you rather be attached to a 100-pound weight for the rest of your life or die in 20 years?
Oh, man.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
That is a good one. That's a tough one because 120-pound weight, I'm not going to be able to do a lot. Like, I can't probably get on roller coasters. I can't go skydiving anymore. There's, like, a lot of things.
Like you've been skydiving.
Yeah. Well, that eliminates
you go
the
on roller coasters
possibility
regularly.
Yeah. There's just a couple things. This is the first couple things that I'd rather die. It's just like basically asking me, would you want to be an extremely fat person or just die?
You can still get an exercise. Let's say you have, like, a 10-foot chain or something.
Okay, I'd probably pull it around. If I got a 10-foot chain, maybe. But if it's like really connected to me, there's not much I can do with that. I just imagine that would be really bad for your body.
Yeah.
I'd probably die anyways.
I'd probably rather die in 20 years, regardless of whether I had a chain or not.
Yeah, you know, by the time I'm 47 or whatever, I'll have done enough. I'm good. All right, last question.
Yep.
I was going to start with a would you rather too. But for this one, it makes sense. Would you rather have the Earth and all the current technology that exists on the Earth all to yourself right now? Like, everyone just disappeared and you had all the stuff to yourself.
What could I do with that? Okay. So
or learn the truths to the entire universe.
Learn the truth to the entire universe. No question at all.
I figured that. I was like, you could do a lot with, like, all the technology you want.
Yeah, I would much rather be given the answer. Yeah.
True. Instead of
for sure.
Okay,
that's not even close for me.
Yeah, I got
How would you feel?
I'd probably do the same. I would have more temporary fun with all the technology. You know, like if someone just like, I was gonna say gave me a jet, I wouldn't even be able to operate it. But like a lot of things like that would be fun to use. But ultimately, knowing I'd get bored in like 20 minutes and be like, all right, just tell me. You know, so
too late. You already chose.
Yep. Probably the latter.
All right. Well, let's talk about censorship.
I'm like looking for my notes, but I don't have any.
Neither of us wrote notes for this, so this is going to be interesting.
This will be interesting. So
it's a very straightforward topic. Not a lot of notes to take.
No, and I don't think anyone has any qualms or problems with what censorship is. I don't think we have to go into too much detail of what that means, especially in today's society.
Yeah, I mean, we could give an exact definition if you would like, but I'm not prepared for that, so maybe look it up yourself.
Yeah, I looked it up earlier, and it's basically like they'll take down information off the internet. The government will do it, or like what they said, private institutions will do it if it has inappropriate stuff or misinformation or disinformation. I don't remember the difference. But things that lead people to do wrong things. So they can justify that by saying it's not good for everybody, so take it down.
Right, and that's just my problem with it is that's just so easily manipulated.
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
Exactly.
How do you? I mean, you can't.
And the people that would have a vested interest in how the population thinks and what they're doing with their time or what they support would have a reason to potentially take certain things down, even if they are truthful. So who's to decide what's truthful, what's not, what's an ignorant statement or whatever, and what's not? You should leave it up to the people to do it themselves.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think so too. And I was thinking about that earlier today, but there are certain things that, like, if I'm scrolling, I don't want to just see pop up, you know?
Like what?
Like, I don't want to see, like, animals being tortured or, like, a bunch of naked people or like, certain things like that. Now, granted, I don't have to follow those pages or those things that show that. But if it can somehow be thrown onto my page where I guess still you can just get rid of it.
Something that extreme, you can leave it to the people. Because if there's something like that, I really think the people will be like, get this shit off of here.
I would hope so, but there are a lot of weird fucking people out there.
I just don't think it should be like a centralized thing. People that are looking for animal torture or whatever to satisfy their weird kinks have the dark web to go do it. So on the regular web for us normies, I don't think the majority of the population would let that kind of shit fly. So I just think the centralization of censorship is a problem. Yeah. And somebody else telling us what's right and wrong, what we should and shouldn't see. We should be able to decide that for ourselves.
Yeah, no, and I can't argue with that. And I think one of the most disgusting things about it is that I just have this feeling, and it's probably true, that most of this censorship comes because of politics. Yeah. Like, you know, to some degree. I remember watching some interview, and I think it was the... shit, now I'm going to get this wrong, but it was like the CEO of like Twitter or YouTube or something like that. It wasn't Zuckerberg, so I know it wasn't Instagram or Facebook, but they were just questioning him and were like, you know, back in the last 2016 election, did you like take down certain information about like the Republican Party and boost a bunch of stuff about the Democratic Party? And he just wouldn't answer the question. Wow. He just kept going around the point. So you know that they're using they have it at their disposal. They have millions of people every single day that they can slowly shift information their way. A little bit less of this, a little bit more of that, you know, and people won't catch on automatically. So it'll be almost like a subliminal thing that eventually you know, when you're asked the question, you're like, well, I've seen a lot of Democratic stuff in my head lately, so I'm going to, like, it's just going to be regurgitated. Yeah. It's disgusting. It's just such a manipulation of free speech and I don't know, just people's free opinion.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is like the loss of the freedom of speech thing. I should be able to, no matter what I want to say, if I'm just talking, I should be able to put that shit on the internet if I want to. Yeah. And if it's terrible, if I'm sitting here being a racist bigot and just being completely blasphemous with the stuff that I'm saying, then the people will ultimately shun me.
Yeah, you'll be canceled like everything else that's being canceled nowadays.
Right, and shun me like I should be shunned.
The weird thing, too, is like if I walked down the middle of the street today and just started yelling like anti-Semitic comments or something like no one's going to do anything. People will probably more than likely either be like, that guy's on drugs or that's kind of funny. I'm just going to keep going about my day, you know? Like no one's going to. So why, if you go and put it out on the internet, now it's a problem? Yeah. Like that doesn't make any sense. Why is it any different?
Yeah, it shouldn't be, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And it's just such a dangerous line we're going down. And it seems like, especially now, and I don't know if it's because it's just the things that I'm tuned into, but it just seems like now more and more things are getting censored, or maybe it's just more obvious that it's being censored. Yeah, because a lot of posts, again, political stuff, things about like the COVID virus, I've noticed are being blocked a lot for misinformation. And it's like doctors talking. It's doctors talking about medicine and things that'll fix it. And they're like, no, we'll take that down. Like, how can that hurt anybody? That's my question. If somebody went to their doctor and was like, yeah, I think I have COVID. Can I have this medicine that I heard is a good thing off the internet? Like, is it going to kill that person? Like, it can't be, I don't know. Like, what is the bad problem there? Why is it so bad that you have to take it off the internet where no one can see it anymore?
I wouldn't be the one to disagree with you.
Give me an answer.
Please, just draw it out of me. Censorship is good.
Yes, thank you.
No, it's bullshit. Point. Like I said before, I side with Slim Shady on censorship.
There's always going to be people out there you disagree with, no matter what, no matter how strong you feel about your own opinions, or even if it's a fact nowadays, no matter how strongly you feel about that fact, there's going to be people out there that disagree with it. Mm-hmm. And now I think we're just getting to notice that more because everyone's so connected that we're seeing very obvious that people have a lot of different opinions about things. But that doesn't mean that your opinion is better than someone else's opinion.
Of course not.
That doesn't mean that they can't voice their opinion just because you think yours is right and it means something to you.
Yeah.
You know, that it doesn't matter. No one cares about your opinion. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't care. Even no matter how much you care about it, doesn't just obligate other people to give a shit about it. It'll never happen.
As we sit here and tell the camera all of our opinions.
That's right. And you don't have to give a shit.
You probably don't.
I'm not forcing this on anyone. The 10 people that'll watch it are choosing to watch it. We're not holding guns to anyone. If you don't like it, you find it offensive, find it stupid, find it whatever, go to the next thing.
That's right.
There's plenty of other stuff out there to watch.
There are. You can go watch a bunch of kitten videos instead.
Yeah, exactly. You literally probably whatever you can think of in your brain is probably on the internet somewhere.
Probably so.
Unfortunately, to a lot of degrees. But
yeah, that's right.
I don't know, man. I just completely disagree with it, and I think it's just scary that we're going down a road that
it is very scary. Where it feels like we're turning into
China.
Yeah, I was going to say a communist nation or some sort of like where they're trying to control thought, really.
Yeah.
And
everyone has to be on the same page and think the same things and have the same opinions.
Exactly.
Because nothing else will allow other people to see.
If somebody presents a dissenting opinion that may or may not catch on, they're going to close it off before it even happens.
Yeah.
That sounds like some horse shit, especially when so much of our communication happens through the internet. So when our First Amendment involves freedom of speech.
Yep. Right. The very first thing they thought to write down, almost 300 years ago now. Well, yeah. Well, kind of close. 250, so whatever.
Whatever it is.
Who cares? The first thing they decided to write down was that everyone should be able to say whatever they want to say. Whether it bothers everybody, it's just words. It's just vibrations through the air.
That's right.
Just block it out. It's very easy to do.
I was going to say, if it means something bad to you, if you hear something and get offended by it, that's your problem.
Yes, it's not
really. I mean, it's a vibration. It's just like the principle of hearing in general. When somebody speaks to you, before you hear it, if there's nobody there to hear it, the only person that it sounds like words to is that person. To the universe, that's just vibrations in the air.
Yeah.
If you take it and internalize it and turn it into something else, that is your problem.
Yeah, it's you taking something someone said, attributing it to yourself and your own emotions, and then if it conflicts in any way, now that person's not allowed to do that.
That's right. I think Tom Segura, I may have said this in a past podcast, but I think Tom Segura really hit the nail on the head. Is if you get offended, you have the right to be offended.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
That's fine. But what you don't have the right to do is expect anyone to do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You alone do something about it.
Right.
And that's, you turn yourself off to it. If that's what you got to do, you can't expect everybody to fucking change because you're offended. That's why that's one of the reasons that I will argue to the death for my right to say the word retard. I really will. I said it on the podcast. I'll say it again. I've had this argument with multiple people because I've said it out loud, and then they're like, "Oh, you just said the R word." I'm like, it's not like I'm not. The only word that I don't think people should be allowed to say unless you're black is obvious, the N word.
Yeah.
That for me is really the only one that I'm never gonna even attempt to say, because I know that I have no right at all to that word, and that word has a history of offensive nature and so much shit loaded behind it. I would never say that out loud.
Yeah, retard's only offensive as like 5 years ago or something great. Like no one cared before.
Right.
Now it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a legitimate scientific term.
Yeah, or like midget.
Yeah.
Midget's another one.
Yeah.
Is that offensive? I don't even know.
Apparently. John Mulaney did a whole bit on that, which was so funny. I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm going to take credit for John Mulaney's work.
Please.
He did a sketch on SNL or something like that, and they said the word midget, and his boss brought him into his office and said, you can't say the word midget. And he was like, pretty much, why not? And then the guy said, because midget and the N-word are pretty much the same thing.
What?
And John Mulaney was like, first of all, no.
Yeah.
Second of all, you want to know how I know? We're not even saying what the N-word is. We're saying the word midget out loud.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right. If there are two words that you're comparing how bad they are, and there's one of them that you won't say, that's the worst word.
Yeah, that's the right.
That's the one.
Yeah, a clear example. Run out onto the street right now and say both of them out loud.
And see which one you get beat up over.
Yeah, it's a clear example. You can go on almost any store you want to and just say both words and see which one causes the most reaction.
That's right. It's like saying, I'm going to do a Harry Potter reference here. Who is the worst person? He who must not be named, or Lucius Malfoy?
Yeah.
Who's the worst guy? You won't even say one of their names.
Yeah, right.
He's probably the worst one.
That's hilarious. You know, the funny thing, too, about... That was going to be a bad sentence. I was going to say about the N-word is that I think white people get more offended about it now.
Some of them.
It seems like white people are so afraid of black people now that it's like we'll kind of just do whatever is necessary to be civil.
In a way,
even if we have to disagree with our own whiteness or our own thoughts or opinions on things, like we'll just agree just to keep things civil.
In a way, historically, we should be afraid of black people. I mean, white people, not all white people, have historically wronged black people in America, at least.
Yeah, America, right.
There's all sorts of semantics I can get into there.
Sure.
We shouldn't, and I won't.
Yeah.
But white people, in a way, probably should be scared of black people and what they could almost justifiably do to an entire race, and like use the past to justify themselves. Not that it actually would be justifiable.
Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't be justifiable because it's like, fighting fire with fire type of thing. It's, you're not going to win. It's just going to create another problem that's just going to cycle over and over and over again, of course. But no, I agree. But I just find that so funny. And the reason I brought this up, and this is kind of completely diverging from the topic, but whatever, is Oprah was giving an interview or something where she was just like, white people all have privilege. Like, just because you're white, you have a privilege. And no matter what you think, you just don't understand it because you're white. And like, I get that to some degree, but she has, especially in her position, she it's hard to say that that's true for her specifically. And she has so many people that listen to her that don't really need to hear. That's just not a productive message to hear.
Right. And pun intended, it's not a black and white issue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really not. Nothing is.
But the problem I had is there was a white person that was on there with her and was talking to her. Was like, no, I agree. Like, I think that white people are like the worst, basically. And I'm just like, you're just saying what you have to just so you don't basically get called out on TV. Yeah. And a bunch of people don't come after you. Mm-hmm. Now people are just afraid to say what they want to say because they know a fucking mob of people are going to come after them. That's the one terrible thing about the internet. Yeah, but it's the fact of the internet. Is that a thing we should censor? No, I mean, people should just be allowed to be people. Whether it's a
going down a crazy road here.
Whether it's good or bad, people should be allowed to be people when it comes to speech. Anyhow, when it comes to actions, that's where you're gonna start fucking up.
If it comes from a place of respect, love, and attempt at understanding, you should be able to say pretty much whatever you want.
And even if it's not, though, even if it's a hateful, blasphemous fucking heresy, you should still be able to say that and not be killed for it or whatever. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but you always should have your free speech.
Yeah.
Again, people just don't have to listen to you if they don't like you. If you're just a terrible, awful person, you're not going to become popular. It's not like a lot of people are just going to be forced to listen to you at some point. Like, that's never going to be the case. If you don't like it, then step away. You should be able to say whatever you want. Even go after people and try to cancel them for things they said. Like, that shit doesn't matter because people don't have to pay attention to it if they don't want to.
Yeah, and I guess if that sort of dissenting behavior didn't exist, then we wouldn't have a metric for good behavior or loving behavior if those kind of terrible people never existed.
Yeah.
That's like this utopia. So I'm reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and he was basically saying that you shouldn't get upset at the people who are different than you or the people that appear offensive or whatever, because they're what makes the world go round. Everybody is necessary for these things to happen. For our world to be the way it is, everything in the world is necessary. Every part, whether good or bad, is necessary. Like, the bad is necessary because it gives us a way of telling what's good.
Yeah, it gives us some sort of metric.
Yeah.
Something to base our morals off of to say, I don't want to do that because that seems awful.
Yeah.
So I'll try to do it a little better in this way. And you're still, there's even going to be people that are not okay with your better, and they're going to think you should do it another way. And that'll just always be the case. But telling someone they can't figure out life in their own way, you know, people aren't a lot of people just aren't smart, unfortunately. So they're going to say a lot of dumb shit, and it's not, and I'm not necessarily saying it's their fault. It's just due to their experiences and their predispositions. They tend to think a certain way. Can you blame that person for thinking that way? It's probably not their fault. You know, no one was born going, I want to be racist. God damn it. You know, like, it's just something that was somewhat forced onto them. So what they need is knowledge and understanding and compassion and things like that, which is all hard for all of us to do, especially if you are a black person being yelled, you know, discriminatory words. It's hard for you to just go, you know, I don't care about that. I'm here to help you. Like, it's just not really what happens most of the time.
Right.
But it's what I think is necessary for us to all move past this point.
Really? Yeah.
And if we want to have some understanding, then have understanding, so we can. But don't realize that people aren't just hateful to be hateful. It's just because that's all they really know. Someone treated them that way, and now they're displacing their energy on other people.
I guess some people are hateful to be hateful, like sociopaths and stuff. Probably just enjoy it. You know, enjoy that type of attention and whatever else. Some psychopaths,
maybe a small percentage of people,
Very
but
small,
but your average person
I'm just
is
playing
not
devil's advocate.
Right. But your average person is not trying to be hateful. They just don't know any better.
No.
They just need to be taught what is right and what is wrong, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, that's not the same for everybody, which makes things really difficult.
No, it's not the same for everyone. That's something that I don't think a lot of people understand, is that universal right and wrong. Personally, I don't know that actually exists.
No, I can't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
so something that sounds bad to you, you might say, oh, we should censor that. But it might sound like kind of okay to someone else. Maybe they should go up to this person and explain what they're actually saying.
like pornography.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why that just popped in my head.
Because that can be part of this conversation that we have. Like, should we take pornography off the internet?
Yeah.
Because some people think it's blasphemous.
Well, that is billions of dollars of revenue for the United States.
That's definitely
it is
not
gonna happen.
Whether it's moral or not.
I think it's the #1 business or industry in America is porn.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on that, but
Which,
I think
again,
I've heard that.
Absolutely blows my mind that prostitution in most states, like all but 1 or 2 states, I think I'm pretty sure it's legal in Nevada with some stipulations.
I think there's like certain sections of the state or country that it's okay in.
Right, but it's legal if you film it and put it on the internet. That
makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And if prostitution was legal, it'd be way safer.
Money. Like, if you can somehow privatize something that's bad and make money off of it enough to, you know, help the nation or whatever it may be, maybe lobby
thing, right?
with it, then it's a good thing. That's right. Like,
it's a fucking disgusting world we live in.
If I could make money off mutilating animals on video and use that to lobby, which not on video, but people do lobby with the money that they use to mutilate animals.
Yeah. Absolutely.
From
and they
the
have
meat
a
industry.
lot of sway.
Yeah.
A lot of sway.
Yes, they do. But if I could make money by filming that and putting it on the internet, then maybe it wouldn't get censored, which is just sad as hell.
I'm sure it wouldn't. And it's so crazy. Like, going back to the porn thing, like, there's a lot of probably Christian or just religious people in general that would say, like, that needs to be taken off. That's not something that should be on the internet. That's people's private affairs. But then you have like 80% of the population going, nah, I kind of like it. You know, like, no, we should probably leave that.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you draw that line? Should someone be able to make that deciding point to say, no one's going to do it anymore because I don't think it's right?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's
it's either you censor everything or you censor nothing.
Yeah.
I like censoring nothing.
Yeah. I like censoring nothing because it sounds bad, but you have a choice at what you look at. You know, as long as like ads aren't popping up in my face every 5 seconds that show like mutilation or like fucking like child trafficking or something like that, as long as that stuff's like ads aren't popping up in your face, because that's kind of like an invasion almost, then I'm okay with it. Because I can just go to the next page or delete that person that I'm following, or, you know, say that I can even personally say that post is offensive to me and maybe it won't show up on my timeline anymore. But just because, like, you can go to like a like Ricky Gervais says. Like, you could go to his Twitter page, get offended by something he says, and then get mad and like he's supposed to take it down or not say those things.
Yeah, like you see the billboard that says guitar lessons, then you call the number and say, I don't fucking want guitar lessons.
Yeah, well, just go to the next thing.
Be gone then.
Yeah, right. There's no point for you to voice your opinion. Just have it to yourself, know what you like, what you don't like, and move to the next thing.
I mean, at this point, you could say that maybe the point that you draw the line, I guess this would maybe be an argument that somebody would bring up at least. The point that you draw the line is maybe you get a petition and the majority of Americans or whatever want it taken down. But then even then, I would say that the minority is not less important than the majority. I mean, you can argue that with a plethora of different things.
Yeah.
Just because the majority thinks something is right doesn't necessarily mean it's right.
It doesn't make it useful for mankind or even beneficial for mankind.
No.
A lot of the things we see were very reactive anyways. We don't even notice it until like 10 years afterwards. We're like, oh, that probably wasn't the best idea for us. You know? So I tend to not give us a lot of credit on that. So, but I mean, what Facebook specifically is doing, what Twitter's doing, what Instagram is doing, I think it's disgusting, man. I mean, just people like that guy I sent you, JP Spears or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he just posted like a very sarcastic video just talking shit about people's mechanisms when it comes to COVID and how they act. And they took the video down. And he wasn't allowed to
just be a comic.
Yeah, he literally is
Satire.
a comic. Yeah, he's being a sarcastic asshole, and that's how his videos are, and they're hilarious. But you're not even allowed to do that. Like, how far is this going to go? And an interesting point that you and I talked about before we started filming is that there's an executive order coming through the White House about a week ago trying to ban censorship.
Good.
And I looked at it on the White House's website, so go look at it. But yeah, Donald Trump is trying to. There's not a lot of great things I say about him, but you can't just say
deservedly.
Yeah, right. But then just because I don't like him, I can't say that everything he does is a terrible bad thing to do. You know, you have to look at things case by case. So,
absolutely.
So for this, it seems like he's doing a good thing. And you know, Mark Zuckerberg's been in trial a lot lately for this kind of stuff because it's swaying elections. It's very possible that it's starting to sway elections. Yeah. And you know, politicians aren't going to put up with the shit when it comes to that. So they're having an executive order to ban censorship. Like, I don't know if it's going to work or if it'll go through, but because it's got to get through, you know, the House, which is mostly Democrats who are probably benefiting off of the censorship.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I have started to see it is that, I mean, so I'm gonna quote Men in Black here because it's a great quote, I think, from Tommy Lee Jones. He said that a person is smart, people are dumb, dangerous animals.
Yeah,
which is absolutely true. So I think individual people should be responsible for their own censorship.
Yeah,
but a group of people doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They're a bunch of dumbass idiots.
Isn't that such an interesting thing about society in general? To me, it's what I think is ultimately gonna destroy us. Is that we're all so connected nowadays that it's easy to say, like, I hate everyone because everything I see on the internet is fucking stupid. So I just hate everyone. But then you walk out in your daily life and you go to work and you talk to people at work and they're nice to you and you have normal conversations. I even walk outside and talk to my neighbor. Like, they're nice people. I go to the grocery store. People are nice to me. You know, I don't know if it's just because I'm a white, handsome male in America, but when you get online and you have this groupthink mentality, everything seems the worst of the worst. Yeah. But if you go out and actually experience life and talk to people, they're really not that bad.
Yeah. Really, I mean, this is going to boil down to, again, having good conversations with people. And that's what a lot of our podcasts kind of censor around. And even people like Sam Harris are super pro conversation because it's like you learn so much from having a very intelligent, long-winded, understanding conversation with another person.
It's the only way we're going to be able to progress.
That's right.
There's no way you can get someone's full opinions and full ideas about something by just commenting on something on the internet.
Absolutely not. It's so easy to sit behind your keyboard and be a brick wall and you're never going to change yourself.
Yeah, even like with what we're doing, like sort of a long form conversation, there's certain parts of what we say that you could pick out and say, I have a problem with that, and I could elaborate on that even further.
Yeah.
Like, we could talk about that one specific thing for quite a while. But when you have this short form conversation, you see this one comment and you just associate that to be everything about that person. Like, if they say something that's even like based on like white privilege or some sort of racism, like, you just imagine that person to be privileged and racist, and like, that's all there is to them.
Yeah.
But then if you sat down with that person and actually worked through the kinks and worked through the language barriers and things like that, you'll notice that, like, oh, well, we have a lot in common.
Really?
And it's just that simple. But people don't want to get past that point because they love those predispositions. They want to go ahead and associate you with the rest of the people they hate.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier for them because to say we're right and you're wrong type of thing, it's never going to be ironed out.
And to be willing to sit down and have a debate with somebody like that too is it takes a certain amount of self-awareness and a certain amount of willingness to change yourself. Yeah. Because if you're really having an understanding conversation with somebody, or like a debate, because the way that I view debates now, at least, or conversations, it's not about winning. It's about growing yourself, and it's about getting to the truth of the matter.
Absolutely.
So when you sit down and have a conversation with somebody, you should also be willing to change yourself in that way. Being super hard and concrete on something can be a problem. Like, I say this right after I talk about how I'm pretty much never going to give up my right to say the word retard.
yeah, go ahead.
But no, I was just gonna say that, like, in that case, maybe I should be more open to changing. But at the same time, I've thought about this a lot and had a lot of conversations. And if I use it in the right way, and if I'm not using it in a malicious way, because it's not like I see someone on the street that is mentally handicapped and go, look at that fucking retard. I would never do that. If somebody does that, then they're a piece of shit.
Yeah, they really are a piece of shit. No.
I would never do that. If I say the word retarded, it's either in a scientific way or in a playful way towards one of my close friends or talking about myself.
Yeah, or just a situation.
Yeah.
Like... And I think even though you say, like, I'll never change, like, if you sat down and had a conversation with someone that was reasonable, knowledgeable about the subject, and kind of gave you, like, this is why, blah, 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 and it made sense to you, and you thought about it, and you digested it, you'd even be willing to change on that subject, if given the right circumstances. So it's just about being open-minded. Just know that even when you think that you have things figured out and you know something for an absolute truth, there is just no such thing.
Nope.
There's no such thing. There's always room for improvement.
That's right.
And some leeway here.
Life is a series of half-truths. If you think you're in the right on most things, then you are oblivious as hell.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of the information, believe it or not. Just the same thing with this George Floyd information coming out.
Yeah.
Everybody was so on top of, like, well, we know exactly what needs to happen here. We have it all figured out. And then, some more information comes out. Oh, maybe we should kind of think about this a little differently. That should apply to every single thing you know about in your life and every single thing that you talk about. I have this bit of information, so this is why I feel like it. So let me hear your information, and maybe we'll come to an understanding. Maybe we'll sway each other one way or the other. But it's all about just being open-minded and just knowing that you don't know anything.
I mean, one of the basic underlying assumptions that you should have when you're asserting something or when you're having a conversation with somebody is, I might be wrong, but, or like say afterwards, I might be wrong, talk to me about this.
Yeah.
You should just be able to have that sort of understanding about your place in the universe, because you're such an infinitesimally small little bit of it, and to think that you're just so right about everything is ludicrous.
Yeah, and the only things you think that you're right about is just things that someone has told you in the past, and you're just kind of taking their word for it. Yeah. There's like certain objectable things, of course, and experiments that you can do to say, like, I've done this over and over and over again. I can tell you I'm going to get this result. I can get that, and that's where we get facts from. But even that fact is just based off of our perspective and our bias as human beings. Yeah. It doesn't make it an objectable fact for the entire universe, as far as we know it anyways.
Right. And I want to say this before it leaves my mind. Brennen just he very quickly skipped over the whole George Floyd bit. Before this comes out, we will have a video posted of us talking a little bit about the new George Floyd footage that came out. So don't listen to this and then not listen to what he has to say about that, because I don't remember everything that you just said about it, but you might get an incomplete idea of how Brennen feels about the subject. So don't hear that and go, racist.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Again, there's more information out there.
Absolutely.
Everyone has different perspectives. It doesn't make anybody right or wrong. It just makes you on different playing fields.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you can sit down and have the conversation with me to maybe prove your point over my point, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to hear those things.
Mm-hmm.
But from my perspective, I see it this way as for right now for the information that I have.
Right.
This is where I'm at.
And that's part of our whole point for opening up this podcast, is to open the discussions that are important, are what we view as important in society. So if you have a problem with some of the things that we're saying, then maybe leave a nice long-winded comment and say, please respond to this maybe in your next video.
Sure.
Or we can figure out a way to talk about it at some point. If you live around us, I would be glad to meet up with you and
email
talk
back
about
and
it.
forth. That's
something
pretty
like that.
long form.
As long as we come from a place of love and understanding, and we're not shunning another person, assuming that another person is bad or wrong or whatever, right in their own mind, wrong in another way. Everybody can build on themselves.
No,
that's kind of the point of that. And the point of our whole podcast is to help everyone, including ourselves, grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to bring it back around, that's the ultimate problem with censoring things, is now we don't have the full information. Even going back to George Floyd, none of us had the full information. And they knew that, which is disgusting. But the fact is don't think you know everything, because there's things that are being taken down from people or just hidden so you can't see the whole truth, you know, whether it's the government or private institutions or even public institutions like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. You don't know everything. Whether it's just because you haven't learned it yet or seen it yet, or because people are literally hiding it from you. Don't assume you know everything and stand on that truth like it's unbreakable.
Right.
Like you're going to get yourself into a position where you're not willing to change because you think you know it, and then it's going to create a rub with other people, and you're going to have nothing but frustration and kind of like a hatred type conversation.
Yeah, it's like imagine you yourself are a box, right? Or like let's say you're a ball. If you are rigid in your understanding or rigid in your willingness to learn and expand, you are going to be a concrete ball, and you won't move or be able to grow at all. But if you're pliable and willing to, have conversations with other people and open yourself up, you'll be willing to grow, and you'll expand yourself as a bubble. You'll be something that's elastic and able to kind of flow rather than just sit there still and rigid.
Right.
It just, to me, that is unbelievably what's the word I'm looking for? Closed off, closed-minded,
egocentric almost.
Yeah, egocentric is a great word for it. It's just, to me, it's wrong. And when somebody says this is real and I'm unwilling to budge on it ever, I just go,
there's no need to have there's no need to have the conversation in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? I think also where you tend to have the most interesting conversations are with the people that are nothing like you.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
If I talk to someone that does all the same shit that I do, like all the time, then I know what you're going to say. You know what I'm going to say. Let's just skip all the bullshit. You know, let's not even worry about it. Then you talk to someone that's come from a completely different place than you, has completely different experience. That stuff is so fascinating to learn about. It is
enlightening.
Yeah, and you have to understand that those people coming from different experiences have no option but to think differently than you do. Yeah. It's just there's no other way. They're going to think differently than you because they've had different experiences.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that you would disagree on everything. It just means that you may look at it in a different... Even if you and I are saying the exact same words back and forth to each other, it doesn't mean that we mean the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because we have different experiences. So taking someone like that is vastly different than you and trying to understand where they come from and applying it to yourself can be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah, true. And you're really just limiting yourself if you only ever talk to like-minded people or only ever listen to someone who you vibe with or somebody that you understand everything that they're saying. You're really limiting yourself.
Yeah, like you and I.
Yeah, right. Right. But that's why like I try to listen to the points of view as long as they're intelligent and reasonable. Yeah. I try to listen to the points of view of I've said this guy's name on our podcast a multitude of times, but Ben Shapiro. He and I probably do not see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But he is very intelligent, he's understanding, he's willing to listen. And I would love to have a conversation with him.
And he's okay with stepping back and just say, agree to disagree.
Yeah, sure.
We can still love each other. Like, you disagree with, or I disagree with you because of these principles and vice versa. But we can still have an understanding and still, be on the same level to have a conversation with each other that doesn't end in, hatred for one another.
Right. I mean, people like that can teach you a lot, not just about their point of view and like a different perspective than your own, but teach you a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
If they challenge you on your stuff, then it really helps you reinforce not only your core values, but expand in other ways.
Really make you think why you have those beliefs in the first place.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important, is to be able to check yourself. That's something that I really personally pride myself in, is trying to find the points of view that disagree with what I have to say, and then using that to expand myself.
Our whole internet culture is completely swayed the other way.
Yeah.
It's like, find exactly what you like, follow those people, talk to those people, and anyone that comes into the group and disagrees, let's just fucking
block them.
Let's berate them until they don't want to talk to us anymore.
Anybody who thinks that the Black Lives Matter movement is like a potentially, a
political scam. Go ahead.
Well, no, you're right on the nose. Is, in a way, yes, of course, they're right on a number of fronts. But in another way, that movement, I would argue to the teeth, and I would love to listen to somebody who says otherwise, but I really think that movement is being used for other means.
Oh, absolutely.
Used for means by people who don't give a fuck about black people.
Yeah. There's no doubt to that people are absolutely using it and exploiting it.
Just like everything else.
For some sort of political gain.
Absolutely.
Same with COVID virus.
Yeah,
for sure. Same thing going on, which is why half the shit you see about it gets censored and taken off the internet. Is because they only want you to think a certain way. All those notifications that you get on your phone that just pop up and say, COVID's rampant, COVID's this, the numbers are going up. That's all that I see on my phone. But yet I go around and talk to people, and I don't know a single person that has COVID. And I haven't talked to a single person that's had COVID. I'm not saying that it's not real. Either. But when you look at the things that are being pushed in your face, it's constantly saying one thing. And then when people even try to step out and say that, like, nah, I don't really think that's true, I think it's a little different than that. Nope. Take it off. We don't want people saying that shit. And that's the absolute problem. That's the things that we should all have a problem with. Instead of just looking on the internet and saying all the other people that are not like me, I hate them and I never want to talk to them or agree with them on anything. Look at how you're just being force-fed bullshit information all the time. That's where you should have your problem.
Absolutely.
That's what should bring people together, to say, you're making us all look like fucking fools arguing over here because you're giving us bullshit information. That's where the problem is.
We should create an app for people that are searching for truth and searching for understanding. So instead of like nudging themselves into this corner with only things that they agree with, when somebody says something that they don't agree with, maybe they can have like a little bubble of this person's online. If somebody comments on your shit and says something, I disagree or whatever, then or they can't even put extensive comments about why they disagree. They can just put a thing like, I disagree, please, like, can me, and then you can click on their name and y'all can just have a little conversation real quick.
That'd be cool, without a bunch of other people barging in.
Right. I think that would be a very interesting app to make somebody do it.
Yeah, somebody do it.
I would be on that shit in a heartbeat.
You coders and developers.
That's part of why I hate social media, is because people reinforce themselves and are not willing to have the conversations to potentially expand their point of view or hear a point of view other than themselves.
And you don't have to, because you control the fuck out of people on the internet. If you're sitting right in front of somebody and you go, you're being derogatory towards that, you're not going to do that as much as you would on the internet.
Definitely not.
Because you're sitting there, no one can do anything to you. You're just sitting there like playing with your balls or something, going like, fuck you, retard. I'm going to say that because you brought it. Like, obviously you probably wouldn't do that in front of somebody. So it creates all this trolling sort of atmosphere where people don't even, they don't want to agree. So they do everything they can to not agree with that person by just being violent or rude or just having all this unnecessary commentary, just to troll people. That's what they like to do. They like to, if I can be mean enough to you to where you stop replying, I won.
Yeah.
My point was better. Yours was dumb.
That's right.
I won.
The person who talks louder, our last wins.
Yeah, exactly. It has nothing to do with the content of the actual conversation. It's just who stopped first.
That's right.
Like that makes absolutely no sense. That's not how things work out in reality.
No.
Well, unfortunately, they do on the internet. But
yeah, that's how it seems. So in conclusion, guys, we are both against censorship.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't look at it.
Same thing with this podcast. If you listen this far and you're like, I don't fucking like your podcast.
Yeah.
You shouldn't listen this far.
Go.
Turn it off.
Skip to the next thing. It's literally not going to change one aspect of my life if you decide not to listen to this. Not one thing.
If you disagree with some of the stuff we've said, please, I would love to have a little cam chat with you and have a little conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Be
Why
definitely willing
not?
to do that.
Yeah, at least for now. If our podcast ever blows up, which is very unlikely, but if it does, we obviously won't be able to respond to everybody, but I will always attempt to reach some sort of understanding.
Yeah.
That's my goal in life, is to reach truth through trying to understand somebody else's point of view if they come from a place of love.
Yeah, also, if you have disagreements with just one of us, you can feel free to say that as well.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine, if I had disagreed with the both of us, I wouldn't want to talk to the both of us because it feels like you're just going to get kind of
hammered.
Yeah, ganged up on. I mean, you could pick one. We don't do everything together. We do 80% of things together.
Yeah, including sex.
Yes. We hold hands, but don't have sex together. It's with other people.
That's right.
But we still hold hands.
We frequently Eiffel Tower.
Yes. And we make a lot of eye contact.
Yes. Oh, it's great. This is why we're so close. This is why we get along so well. We speak telepathically.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our next episode will be just pure telepathy.
Hey, that's not a...
We'll just stare at one another.
I was going to say, maybe we should talk about telepathy. That'd be an interesting subject.
That'd be cool.
Oh, well.
Anyways.
But we've talked almost as much as we can about censorship. Neither of us took notes, and I thought we did pretty good for not taking notes.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Again, it's a very obvious thing that's going on. It's just about being aware of it and deciding how you feel. If we can somehow influence politics to stop censorship, that's probably our best route. First off, I want to give some solutions here, but otherwise, what if we have to go to different social media platforms or whatever we have to do, we all need to realize that no matter how disgusting or even brilliant our voices are, they deserve to be heard by everyone or by whoever wants to listen.
For sure. We need to make a serious conscious effort as a people to preserve freedom of speech.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really feel like that's starting to become endangered in America.
Yeah.
Is our ability to say what's on our mind without repercussions.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
well, I guess without repercussions from a centralized body. If you say some ridiculous shit like we said before, obviously the people will come down on you.
Yeah, that's fine. You probably deserve it.
Probably.
But as soon
unless
as
the people are being influenced by that centralized body.
But as soon as we give up this liberty, it'll just be on to the next.
Yeah.
And it'll be one thing after another until we don't have any control over what we do. And that's just not a road I think any of us want to go down. So
probably not.
So voice your opinions. Try to again be in the mix to influence politics if you can, to make sure that this is something that doesn't go forward. Otherwise, that's all I need to say about it.
That's it, man. I think we said most of what we wanted to say, maybe in an incomplete way, but
sure. Again, talk to us.
Yeah, please.
We'll have plenty more to say. Obviously, we do this every week, so we can talk forever and ever. So, hey, if you guys have enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe. Instagram at We're Defective. TikTok at Cause and Defect.
Before TikTok gets banned.
Before we don't have that anymore. We're on, of course, YouTube.
Because only China can steal our data.
That's
or no, only the U.S. can steal our data.
That's right.
Pardon me.
On Pandora, Spotify, all that kind of good stuff. Check us out. Share with your friends if you like. If you don't like us, feel free to say that as well. Let us know. Or just don't listen. Yeah. Or go to the next thing.
That's probably the
Enjoy
route
your own
that
life.
most people will take. Yeah,
absolutely. So, anyways, thanks for listening, you guys. This is Cause and Defect. Serious conversations with not so serious people. And we will catch you next time. Peace. I like that.
I thought we did pretty good.